We talked about this before. Well, we'll talk about it again for the new viewers. Psychedelics are illegal deliberately, by design, because they wake people up. Because you can't control somebody who knows who they are. You can't control somebody who thinks for themselves. And there is no way that you take psychedelics, not one time, but let's say you begin to deliberately experiment with psychedelics with deliberate intention, setting and preparation. There is no way in hell you can be controlled. I mean, if you do if you take 10, if you do 10 mushroom trips, and each one is with intention, with setting and preparation, and do some fasting before, and really go to nature and take it, take the prep seriously, there is no way you can be controlled after that. No way. No way. It's impossible for you to be controlled at that point. You know too much. You know too much. Now, the institutions, the structures that are in control, all of our institutions, our religious institutions, our governments, the pharmaceuticals, the military, all our masters, where we get the authority from. Here, you're sick, take this pill. Oh, who said that? Our doctors. Our doctors are basically like our priests, like our scientists. Our scientists and our doctors. They're our priests, right? We pay so much reverence to them. Science is another institution also. And very much so, a lot of people get their authority from science. You know that meme, if it's not science, it's because it's science, bitch. Science is so limited. It deals with the five physical senses. It's so limited. Oh God, it's so limited. But of course, quantum physics is revolutionizing. The whole story of science will be rewritten soon, very soon. It is being rewritten. And at some points, a bunch of scientists are going to have to sit around the table and say, look, guys, everything we thought, gravity even, look, turns out it's all bullshit. We got to rewrite science here. But that'll take time because that's the way science works. Anyway, all our institutions are set up to control, and they become our truth givers. Our scientists are truth givers, our priests, church priests, mosques, sheikhs, etc. Our doctors. So, of course, when you take psychedelics, you're like, holy shit. This is a lie, and this is a lie, and this is a lie, and that too is a lie. Oh my God. Now, you might take it one time and suppress and get back to your social role and get back to taking the meds and get back to, all the lies. All right. That was a little scary, wasn't it? Oof, I don't know, man. I think I was asking too many questions. But it becomes problematic if you dive back in and you ask more questions. Okay, so what's the solution? Let's make it illegal. Let's put it as Schedule 1 drug in the United States. Schedule 1. Right? In Canada, it's 3, but Canada's Canada. No, this is the place you go to if, you just want to take a break from life, I suppose. And just live a very mundane and do your thing. I mean, I did my mushroom thing there. It's easy to get mushrooms there. It's easy to grow them. You know what I mean? Canada's kind of cool in that way. But, I mean, our big countries, the ones in power and control, China, America, the big ones, Russia, I mean, you will be thrown in jail for life if you're caught with these substances. So it's like, let's make it illegal. Because then we don't have all these citizens asking us questions, and then we can keep them in line. We can keep them, controlled. So that's why psychedelics are illegal. On the other side, we have the government's beloved drug. You guys know what I'm talking about. The drug that consistently shows up as the most harmful drug to user and to others in virtually all statistics. Alcohol is legal. Not only is it legal, but it's encouraged, it's promoted, it is made to look cool. You're made to look cool if you drink alcohol. I mean, have you seen those commercials? I mean, you're only a real man if you have a truck and a piece of steak, but that still doesn't make you a man. You're only a man if you got a cold brew beer, Heineken or whatever, okay? I mean, isn't Heineken the official sponsor of the Champions League? The biggest sporting event in Europe? I mean, you can't really watch a top-notch soccer game, football game, without a Heineken. You know, that's what the advertisements show you. How can you watch these amazing 22 athletes who put their life on the line without a beer? Can't do that. I mean, that's not fun. That's not fun. Right, so then, I mean, even in Canada, for example, with the exception of Alberta, the province of Alberta, and maybe I'm not aware of other provinces, but I know in Alberta they could be sold privately, but in most of Canada, otherwise, the government owns the alcohol, okay, and they make a shit ton of money out of it, and so they obviously want you to consume it for various reasons. They make money, and then they keep you a slave, basically. You don't ask questions when you're alcohol. You go either get in fights or just make a fool of yourself. Sometimes it brings the poet in you, the artist in you, but that's the 1 in 10 case, the 2 in 10 case at the most, right? 2 in 10 is the most, 20% maybe. It'll bring that poet in you, that lover in you, you know. But I mean, for the most part, it isn't. Because every substance has a consciousness to it. That much like you could be in the presence of a very loving, joyful person and feel, wow, uplifted by their vibration, that you could come in and just being in their presence for an hour could make you just so vibrant and lively because of the consciousness of that being in the form of a human being. Just like you could encounter somebody who is like a black hole, just a black hole of negativity, and then just upon their gaze, you could be filled with anxiety, because that's the consciousness of that mind, body, spirit complex. In the same way, plants and fungus and substances, chemical substances, have their own consciousness as well. Okay? And because everything is information, because this is a hologram. Therefore, it is pretty reasonable to conclude that due to mushrooms, by the way, in the statistics, always rank the least harmful to user and to others. The least. So, one can conclude safely that the consciousness that inhabits the fungus known as psilocybin mushroom, and that inhabits otherwise plants that also come in the form of ayahuasca and DMT, so all psychedelics. The consciousness of the compound LSD, the chemical compound, which is a synthetic compound derived from a natural fungus, ergot. Nevertheless, the consciousness of the 60s, of the beloved, benevolent Albert Hoffman and all the 60s superstars, Timothy Leary, Terence McKenna, Ram Dass, and all the hippies, it is implanted in the LSD. Okay? It is there in the LSD. Some people will talk shit about LSD. Okay? I don't know. That's really absurd, actually, because it's a very benevolent consciousness. And, you know, LSD mushrooms, you take them, they have slight differences, subtle differences, that if you're a seasoned psychonaut, you know the differences. I know the differences. But, you know, for the most part, they're plugging you into lighter consciousness, love, unity, oneness, subtler densities, higher vibrations. Now the powers that be don't want that, because then that their thing, I mein, they're like what, they're third density and fourth density, basically. The elites are third density negatives, and then they're basically being influenced by 4D, fourth density negatives, okay, reptilians and whatnot, Orion and all that. So look at that, that's beautiful. So Yeah, of course, they realize that there is a certain particular consciousness in the alcohol as well that seems to wake up the shadow side in you, if you will, right? The shadow and light, that's the duality, that's how it's played out, right? So not only do they ban psychedelics, but they will encourage things like alcohol because they see that it keeps people locked in a lower density, in a lower vibration. But of course, I'm making generalizations here because believe me, if you bring Jesus in, you get him drunk, he is going to probably be even more of a badass Jesus. Okay, so now these are tendencies. Okay, but then you bring some, like the Aztecs use psychedelics, and they were using them to communicate with demons, war gods. Okay, so I'm just speaking here. There is a tendency for people who use psychedelics to experience lighter densities, to experience more love, more unity, more compassion. And there is a tendency that people who use alcohol will be locked into lower densities where there is jealousy and anger and frustration and these negative emotions. So, of course, the elites are smart because they're being influenced by, evolved negative entities, fourth dimensional entities who are smart. They know how the matrix works. They're like Darth Vader, evil geniuses. So they ban psychedelics, make it a Schedule 1, throw people in jail if they're in the possession of it or if they're caught with it. And they instead shove alcohol down your face, down your throat, everywhere. They even make you look like a real man or real woman, only if you get drunk, right? What do people do? I mean, look at our education system. That's where a lot of us get brainwashed. What do you do there? Get drunk every weekend. That's what you do all 4 years, 5 years, whatever. Get drunk. You just get drunk, right? What do we do on Friday night? Getting drunk. Saturday night, getting drunk. Thursday night, getting drunk. Thursdays, people will often skip class on Friday, right? Or Friday is usually, like a lighter day for a lot of people, so they'll start the weekend early. They'll start the drinking on Thursday. So it's pretty obvious. Like, it doesn't take a genius. I'm not a genius for pointing out the obvious that the psychedelics have been suppressed exactly for this reason, because you can't control people that know who they are. They know where they come from source, and that realize their potential as consciousness having a human experience, and that they're the creator of it. Luckily for all of us, that's changing. Although at a turtle space, because I live in Thailand. Drug laws are so hardcore here. I mean, at least now, like in the States, Denver, decriminalized mushrooms. California is to follow, and then we know that Canada's going to follow soon, and we know that, the rest of the states will catch up, and, the rest of the world will eventually catch up. Nevertheless, like, places here, like, they're pretty hardcore, man. They're pretty hardcore. The drug laws here are hardcore. And, like, Middle East and stuff, I mean, who really needs it more than people in the Middle East right now? And I come from the Middle East, okay? If there is a group of people right now that are so locked into old paradigms and ways of thinking, and they're killing each other over it, it is the people of the Middle East. But that's where actually the most hardcore drug laws are. People don't even know what mushrooms are there. They don't even know. Are you kidding me? The entire religious, if you get young people in the Middle East taking mushrooms suddenly, which is again virtually an unknown substance there, because weed is bad enough there. If you get caught with weed, you're fucked. In the Middle East, like, you're done. You're done. You're done. Excuse my crude language here, but it was necessary, because that's what they would. I mean, really? Oh man, you're screwed. You're done. That's weed, and people know weed there, but that's all they know. The mushrooms are unheard of. Psychedelics, LSD, ayahuasca, DMT, it's unheard of. But if there are people that need it more than anybody else right now, it's people in the Middle East. And do you have any idea if young people in the Middle East started taking this stuff? Oh God. The whole fundamentalist Muslim thing that's been going on there for the last 1500 years would just crumble in like a generation or two. It would be scary what would come out of it the other end. It would be very unpredictable and very chaotic. I'm not saying it's a good thing. Okay? It would actually be scary, the transition. But it would crumble. It would get destroyed Shiva style. And that's what psychedelics are capable of doing. They're capable of bringing that Shiva energy. They just destroy old paradigms, destroy old belief systems. Oh God, they destroy them. Oh boy, they destroy them. I mean, oof. Some people do psychedelics one time and they never do it again in their life. Too much Shiva energy, too much destruction. I'm not ready, not this incarnation, baby. Not this incarnation, not for me, not this incarnation. I dig. You're not ready for it. You're not ready for it. Don't mess around with something. Don't play with fire if you don't know how to put the fire away. If you don't know how to, just don't play with fire. Because they're fire. They'll destroy. They have the destructive Shiva energy. That's what psychedelics have. They really, truly have that. And Shiva destroys everything that is unnecessary. And, well, I'll tell you, psychedelics destroy all the unnecessary social constructs and social conditioning, which is basically culture. All cultures. Not just Western culture or Eastern culture, all cultures. All cultures. And the freedom that comes with it, there is such a freedom that comes from that state. It's a very liberated state that the psychedelic puts you in. And then you come back from the psychedelic and you spend the rest of your life working towards that state of consciousness. That's the beautiful thing about it. Is like you experience these beautiful experiences, you come back from them, and then you work towards it, because it just wakes you up on such a level and destroys all these old paradigms. And then, it just brings you right back in nature, right back into the Tao. Beautiful, beautiful substances. I have such reverence for psychedelics. I wouldn't be here right now, hanging out here, enjoying this beautiful day, making these videos, living in nature, being one with nature, being immersed in my mission, which has really been clear to me because of a few psychedelic trips. Yeah, I mean, really, they're such a wonderful catalyst. They're such a wonderful catalyst. And people say, well, in the East, they don't need them because, they got Buddhism and Hinduism. Yeah, right. I live in Thailand, okay? Oh, the culture here needs a lot of work, just like every other culture. There's so many self-limiting beliefs and so many sickened people and so much, like, still religious dogma. Like here, there's Buddhist religious dogma too, Luckily, though, the Buddhist train of thought is a lot more friendly and accepting than, say, like Muslims, for example, which, don't even get me started here. Okay, the mainstream Islam is, oh boy, I mean, let's not even go down that route. Let me just make a separate video for that, and maybe the next video. Maybe I'm in the mood to piss off some people today. So you know what? Yeah, just we'll make a next video on that. I'm in the mood for it today. Okay, so yeah, that's something to think about there. Okay, they're great catalysts, wonderful catalysts, and we should use them responsibly. Go if you're going to trip or your first time or something. I have a playlist called Psychedelics. There you will find very, 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 very useful information for you to do your first trip, to use these psychedelics responsibly and get something out of them, and then integrate. The integration work is so crucial. I feel like we got to talk about the integration work again. You can go see some of the videos on the playlist, but I do feel like we are in for an integration video. Perhaps, I'm in the mood today for videos, so maybe we'll make one on, because I had one of you guys leave me a comment saying, can you make a video on, like, because you said you grew up as a Muslim and you know, it doesn't make sense to you anymore, but you feel this pressure on you, you're gonna go to hell, and you ask me to make a video. Maybe I'll make a video on this next. Maybe I'll make it on integrating psychedelics. Maybe I'll make it on both. But anyway, I'll write it down as video topics. So, the playlist, check it out. Okay, lots of useful videos there. Psychedelics playlist. I love you guys, and thank you to all the Patreons for your support. Thank you to the people on PayPal for the generous one-time donations and all the good stuff that's been happening there. I love you guys. Thank you so much. If you would like to donate, if you'd like to support the mission in this channel and help me do this full-time one day, then you could do so down below. $2 a month is all that is required to become part of the Patreon family, which, you know, it's peanuts, right? Literally peanuts. $2 a month. You can buy a lot of peanuts for $2 a month, actually. They're just so cheap everywhere. I don't know why. But the word on the street is they're moldy and stuff. Anyway. I love you guys, and that's about it. Until next time, may the force be with you.